Abuja.
Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja on AIT, your #1 general magazine TV program that features topical stories, business, people, places, events, and lifestyle. On our lineup for today, we'll be looking at stories that made headlines this past few days and some sporting activities in Abuja. Well, sports is known to be one of the few things that brings people and communities together from all sorts of backgrounds, and in Nigeria, it is no different. And on our A story, we're looking at racial discrimination and its implications. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Hawa Momo. Welcome. You're still watching Dateline Abuja on AIT. Moving on. Abuja City is known for various sports clubs offering a number of sporting activities apart from the well-known sport football and basketball in quotes. Well, sports, as we all know, are beneficial to our physical health and can positively affect our mental health. Sporting activities is one way to have fun while keeping fit in the process. In Abuja, you can find activities like the rapid paintballing, golfing, cycling, hiking, and a lot more. Well, Dateline Abuja was at the hiking with Abuja Hashes, where people come together just to hike through the gorgeous hillsides in Abuja. The Abuja Hash is a family adult hash, which is family-oriented until the final circle after the run walk has taken place. The final circle, however, features adult language. The trails for the hiking is located by 4 to 6 volunteers who are referred to as ARs. The trails are, however, usually in hilly, bushy terrain. The hash do not have rules but traditions, and the ashes are to be respectful of the traditions. After the hash, there is always a chop site, which is usually a buffet-style restaurant. The Abuja hash is done at one's own risk.
I've been on the hash for 6 years now.
Raju!
It used to be mismanagement, hash logistics. And the hash is not just, we don't just come and we run. We have a group of people that manage and organize and make sure the hash is run smoothly. And then at the end of the year, we do what we call giving back or paying it forward. So what the hash does is, after we had run for the whole year, at the end of the year, we come together, get some things together, and give to the less privileged.
Well, that's quite exciting, I must say. Dateline Abuja was part of the cycling group where people use cycling as a means of exercise or sports, which helps in increasing health and well-being. Cycling is the use of bicycles for either recreation, exercise, or sports, which helps in increasing one's well-being and health. It is a workout that fits in relatively easily because it can replace a morning or afternoon commute. Cycling as a form of exercise sharpens our thinking and helps improve one's ability to retain information and concentrate. Cycling is a healthy, low-impact exercise that can be enjoyed by people of all ages, from young children to adults. Cycling is fun, cheap, and good for the health. It helps protect one from serious diseases such as heart attack, depression, stroke, diabetes, and so on. Cycling is one of the easiest ways to fit exercise into one's daily routine.
We just did 2 sessions. We had a 9 o'clock ATL and a 10 o'clock class. We worked on our body, the core. Spinning is a great class to join, especially when you're in a group. So it's like you're dancing on the bike, you're rocking on the bike. You lose and burn a lot of calories. You work your arms, your legs, and your core. And it's really just a full round exercise everybody likes to do. I think it has a lot of energy. You can use resistance to climb uphill. Also you can use speed when you're spinning. We also use your weights, so we do a little bit of resistance on the arms. But overall, it's an overall fitness exercise. I think that spinning is becoming a trend. I think, try a class, you never know. You must do one class and then you know. Thank you.
Participating in sports has many advantages. It increases happiness and mental health. It can also boost one's confidence and improve self-esteem, and there is no shortage of reasons why you shouldn't find a sports activities to get involved in. So get involved with a sporting activity close to you today. Next on Dateline Abuja is our A story, and we'll be discussing racial discrimination. As Nigeria joins the world to celebrate the elimination of racial discrimination, on the 21st of March, every year is a day recognized by the United Nations as the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And this year was not left out, as it was themed racial profiling and incitement to hatred, including the contest of migration. Racial discrimination, which is the exclusion or restriction of someone because of either their race, color, or national or ethnic origin, is quite common in some parts of the world, although in Nigeria it is not heard of because we all have the same color, uniform black. Well, instead, what we suffer from is ethnic and cultural discrimination. But let's not forget that racism and ethnicism serve the same purpose, that of a biased mind in favor of their kind. Well, ethnic discrimination in Nigeria is a matter of great concern, and instead of uniting Nigerians together, it's actually breaking further into fragments. This is not something that we should overlook or sweep under the carpets, ignoring the long-term damage we are building upon ourselves as a country. Well, let's take a break, and when we come back, I'll be talking with my guests on racial discrimination and its implications. Stay with us. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Dateline Abuja on AIT. Well, today on Dateline Abuja, we'll be taking families and, maybe the schools who watch over the children.
That her children, her teenage children, have this.
Well, my guest today on Dateline Abuja on racial discrimination, or Dr. Adeniyi, is the HOD Mass Communication Department, based University Abuja. You're welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thanks a lot.
And I also have Promise Amahah, who's also an entrepreneur and a Greek service consultant. Did I get your name well?
Promise Amahah.
Amahah,
Yes.
okay. We're talking about racial discrimination and its implications. So, according to the UN, we are celebrating or marking the International Day of Eliminating Racial Discrimination. And this year they tagged the theme, Racial Profiling and Incitements to Hatred. Can you break it down for us, Doc? Can I call you Doc?
Well, racial discrimination is actually a fundamental problem that has bedeviled the world over the years, And wherever you are, there will always be difference. There will always be otherness and difference. There's no society that you are in where you see a homogeneity of people. It's always going to be a question of heterogeneity. There will be differences at different levels, whether at the level of race, at the level of class, at the level of income group, okay? And there are some kind of identities that you cannot do anything about. If it is original, if it is from birth, okay? You can't do anything about those things, And there's often a crisis, okay? If those definite identities, now define how we relate with ourselves, and it comes up when you see white on black violence, black on white violence, and some other kind of discrimination, whether through faith or through geography, okay, or through phenotype. Definitely there will be difference in societies, You know, we cannot be, societies are plural. We cannot be linear in terms of identity. Okay, but it's also good that the United Nations, you know, and all multilateral organizations are always making efforts to see how harmony, unity, and maybe tolerance can reign within societies, really. Yeah.
Well said. Well, Mr. Promise, can you actually differentiate between the racial discrimination and the tribalism? Because I know that race has to do with like skin color and all of that. But in Nigeria here, we face tribalism and racial ethnicism. So do you want to differentiate that?
Well, we've almost said it all. Racial discrimination actually applies to color, and then tribalism or ethnic discrimination, as you might want to call it, applies to that major component that distinguishes our, you know, identities, you know, our national identities, the Yorubas, the Hausas, and the Igbos. So that's the core of the tribal discrimination, which is most prevalent in our climes, and again, the obvious bane of national integration in Nigeria. So,
do you want to expatiate on that and tell us how that affects us? Like now, tribalism, like you said.
I mean, of course, I've never been to, barely have I been to a business meeting or, you know, a deep conversation where I don't get questions like, where do you come from?
Wow.
Basic standard practice, you know, where do you come from? You go deep into a conversation that needs to build a relationship, business-wise or even emotional. Basically, I've had women growing up ask me where you come from. From the first date, they need to know where you come from to know there's going to be a second date. So if
not even money here in Nigeria.
No way. Okay. Because and it applies to our value systems. You know, our value systems have also been eroded across ethnic divides. So you find that this is really kind of in depth into the challenge of national integration in Nigeria. So a child grows up, the mother raises the daughter, telling her, you know what, you must not bring an Hausa man back home. You must not bring a Yoruba man back home, or an Igbo boy, you know, either ways.
Doc, do you have anything to contribute to that?
Yeah, you see, I want to say that naturally, right, the human being is innately in search for security. Different kinds of security, you know, emotional security, psychological security, and sometimes what we sometimes call ontological security. And that kind of security comes when you think that when you're in a community of people and you want to gravitate to somebody who shares some kind of identity with you. Okay? Maybe the person is your tribe, you speak the same language with the person, you have the same color, you are coming from the same area and all that. You tend to gravitate to that person. It's natural. That's why when we're in a plural society like this, you know, we may not easily want to condemn ourselves for gravitating to each other, if it does happen. But the essence of the state, the essence of government, is to bring about a platform, to bring about strategies through which these diversities can be managed. Okay, and that's the hallmark of governance, really. Those differences will exist. The tendency to gravitate to our differences, to ourselves, along those lines will also exist. You know, but the responsibility of a serious government is to bring us together peacefully.
How does
a strong leadership? Yeah.
How does discrimination manifest itself, whether tribalism or racial?
Yeah. Tribalism, ethnicism, racial profiling, and all of that manifest themselves where you deliberately turn another person to an outsider, and in different areas, in some regards, rather in areas of benefits. Certain things that somebody ordinarily deserves, you discriminate against the person, or you deny the person that benefit or that advantage because the person is not from your area. Okay, that would be the downside of difference. Okay, and that will amount to sheer discrimination. Or on a larger scale, maybe in a foreign country where you have to deal with a different phenotype, you know, and somebody sees you and says that your color is different from his own, and wants to put you down in different ways. Sometimes it might not necessarily be overt, it can as well be covert. Okay, however it reflects itself, it amounts to discrimination, and it's something that I think United Nations is trying to preach against, which is also very salutary. Yeah.
So, Mr. Promise, apart from tribal discrimination, what other kind of discrimination do you think we face in Nigeria?
Well, I think we'll have gender discrimination where, you know, especially in job placements where they specifically request for a male or a female. So we have, that's obvious. It's, you know, it cuts across our society. And I also think religious discrimination should also be considered. It's a major area. Nigeria is now divided across ethno-religious interests. So, we look at gender discrimination and look at religious discrimination as very key. I was going to add some more points to what Doctor said earlier about the kind of ethnic discriminations we experience. And it's as basic as the typical aboki that sells suya. The reaction towards kawo suya and give me suya are different. Do you understand? So you find that there's an ethnic component that language provides that makes the Aboki man get more generous when you speak his own language. Like Doctor said, it's not anything we need to begrudge, because it's not wrong to gravitate towards our interests. But it's about the responsible government managing such issues so they don't become endemic to national integration. So basically that's what we're looking at. So we're looking at gender discrimination, ethnic discrimination, and then religious discrimination, and these are the major challenges we're having.
Do you think racial profiling or tribal profiling still exists? Now we're coming down, to Nigeria. So let's say tribal profiling. Do you think it exists? And how can we manage it?
That's right. I think it does exist really. You see it in circles. You see it in circles. People are able to read your origin most of the time through your accent. If I tell you good morning and you respond from your accent, sometimes I can judge.
I don't know where you're from.
I'm from. I can judge. Apart from the accent, sometimes it could be even your dressing. Your way of, you could show your religious orientation, your tribal origin, and all of that. Some of those things can be designed. Sometimes you might miss it really. I'm not saying it's a mathematical thing, but it can be an indicator. And sometimes people might want to judge you or relate with you on the basis of those. But I'm not saying that it's okay really. It's also dependent on the level of exposure of the person who is probably going to judge, or the person, the actor you are relating with in the interaction. Okay, some other persons might be very exposed and they might want to be dispassionate about the way he or she relates with you. But some other person might be somebody who is probably cocooned within a worldview and thinks that I can't relate with some other person except he's from my tribe. People are more de-tribalized than themselves. People are more de-ethnicized than themselves, and people are more unracial than each other. So it depends on the level of exposure of the person and the person's worldview, the person's understanding, and how the person is able to appreciate the other. Don't forget, we've already agreed here that in every world, in any society, there will always be difference. But what matters is the management of the difference. We cannot all be the same thing. Those differences will exist based on origin, based on the dictates of creation. The important thing is to manage it well.
Well, are you
at different levels,
Are you now saying, for example, like somebody trying to celebrate or their culture, especially I know like in Nigeria, like this is what we wear in my place, and it's not a good thing.
Oh,
for example, you're a Hausa man, and you want to wear, you want to dress like this. Is this not a good thing to celebrate or embrace your culture or your tradition?
That's right.
We're not looking down on another person who's not dressed like you.
Good. It's not just okay. Let me let my friend.
I like to be basic about these things. During the time President Goodluck Jonathan was president of Nigeria, a different dress code emerged called the Niger Delta.
Like what you're wearing.
Exactly. We need to embrace these things with the realities on ground. So you see, even the Northerners adopt a different dress code. It became a national attire that because the ruling government is from the south or from the Niger Delta. So everybody, the tailors that made Niger Delta clothes made a kill during that period. So everybody dressed like. In fact, the guy from Zamfara had more clothes from the Niger Delta than that, just to have a way to get it used to the system and feel more accepted. These, I think, are the aberrations. Now, it has changed to a northern man. President Buhari is from the northern part of the country.
And dress code, has it changed?
Automatically. My partners, my friends, going for meetings, you have more acceptance. You perceive you have more acceptance when you're dressed in a kaftan and then you get the hat like a doctor is wearing.
Okay, now Niger Delta on Hausa.
Oh yeah, so you have to combine
doctor,
it.
you want to talk about that?
Balance it out.
Balance it out. Or you don't mind.
It's not because the president is from here or there.
We agree.
It's just something I find fashionable, and I think I like it. That's it. Well, importantly, I think Promise has made a very valid point, which is okay. We have individual identities, individual origin. And there's nothing as unique as your beginning. Okay? Your beginning, your origin, where are you from? we cannot deny that.
Yeah.
That's the force of history, the force of absolute and original identity. You cannot deny it. It lives with us most of the time, and that's why you even see when people through exposure, they move from one country to the other, become assume or acquire the nationality of another country. And when somebody sees them, they will still want to interact. They will ask them, "Where are you from?" They will tell you, "I am originally from this country." So that origin is always very difficult to forget. And having said that, some of the identities, some of the trappings that you took away from that origin cannot so hardly go away. We wear suits, no doubt, around here, and we look very smart. We say it's smart, but most of the time as well, we do not forget that we're Nigerians, and we do not forget our traditional attires. That is why you see on special occasions, church celebrations, some kind of outings, the traditional attires will be mostly adorned to express our identity, to showcase our origin, and to glorify our ancestry. Those things cannot be denied. So it will remain with us, no matter how exposed, no matter how obeying, and no matter how traveled we are.
And I also think that there's beauty in appreciating our culture,
our
cultural differences. So when we wear the Etibor from Niger Delta, wear the kaftan from the north, and combine these things, we have a rich cultural heritage we want to promote from time to time.
Okay. Well, do we really do that? Like we know, like there are some like the Bini people, they wear wrapper, like the Urobos, the Niger Deltas, they tie like wrapper and wear like big blouses. Would you see like a Hausa man dressed? But you can see like a Niger Delta person wearing a kaftan, which is like a normal thing. But would you see like a Hausa person or Yoruba person actually tying wrapper and wearing that big blouse?
You hardly do, unless there's special interest. Unless it's a contractor in the Niger Delta, then it has to dress that way, But
what's your counsel on that?
Well, we are trying to promote national integration. It shouldn't be a problem if we have to share our cultures, to embrace our cultures, even though we know we're different. That's my point. You understand? I had a personal experience. I'm used to wearing kaftans, not on attires, because I feel so good on them. They are free wears. My ethnic identity, our kind of attires are actually can be heavy sometimes. So I feel free wearing that. So I've had this special experience. People saying, "Wow, this guy is wearing a kaftan and he's growing beards now." I'm sure he's trying to convert to a Muslim very soon. You understand? So see, there's this undertone, there's this stigma that comes with even trying to embrace our cultural differences in attire and developments. And I think that's really something.
What's your counsel on that?
Well, it needs to stop. Diversity should be our strength, not a divisive element that should separate us across ethnic divides. So we need to embrace one another irrespective of our dress code or our ethnic differences, and that's the whole idea. I think the United Nations coming up with this International Discrimination Day to kind of foster integration, mutual respect for individual identities. Of course, I'm not stopped wearing kaftan because of those opinions. But there are some people that will really be that strong-willed to say, okay, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, regardless. You understand? Because it's actually a stigma.
It is.
So basically, I think.
So do you have anything to contribute to that?
I also think that it may not be. I'm trying to bring about understanding and commonality of purpose. Within the diverse plural environment, plural society, shouldn't also just be a matter of costume, or how we interchange costume, or how as a Yoruba man I want to wear an Hausa man's dress, or how as an Hausa man want to wear. It should also be something that is psychological. It's a state of the mind, really. I may be wearing suits, and at the same time, I may not like the English man. I may be wearing the Benin man's wrapper, and I may not like the Benin man. So it's not about those expressions. Those things can fundamentally be just an outward thing, And what we should also concentrate on. I'm not saying that's not also part of it, but I'm just saying that the other important component is the area of the psychology. What's your state of mind towards the other person? How do you want to integrate? How do you want to mix up? Do you want to cocoon yourself to your own understanding, to your own environment? Do you think you are innately superior or more important than the other person? Those are wrong extremist perceptions. You should believe and not let others live, because you are not in societies to exist alone. Okay, you are in a plural environment, and you should learn to tolerate
one another.
I just have one very strategic thing I want to mention at this point quickly. You see, during elections, politicians go from state to state, taking up the attire of those states to get acceptance. Then immediately they get into elected offices. You get what I mean? So that's all I want to say about that.
Okay. Well, do you think? Last question. Do you think that discrimination? Well, we all know discrimination is a crime. Do you think that an act of tribalism should be punished? Somebody practicing and discriminating against gender, religion, ethnicity, or otherwise. Do you think it is a crime? Do you think they should be punished?
Yeah, but I think really that there are laws, there are rules and regulations that are out to prevent people from trampling on the rights of others. So at the level of the implementation of laws, there are already checks in place to guard against such excesses. Okay, so if you say, but if there's an outward expression of hate because somebody's from another tribe, then the person deserves.
Like abroad, if somebody you can't terminate somebody's contract because you have HIV or AIDS.
No, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
Discrimination.
There are different kinds of. That's what I'm saying, that there are different rules and regulations depending on societies, depending on nations and countries. These things are already in place. Implementation is what matters. Especially, I will talk essentially about implementation when it comes to our own crime. We have these rules, we have regulations all over the place. We have mechanism for managing our diversities, but the question will be implementation. How well are they being implemented?
Well, thank you so much. I wish we could go on and on. I'm sure there's so much to talk about, especially on racial discrimination. But the way forward is for us to just enlighten people about it. Thank you so much. I've been talking to Mr. Promise Amahah.
Yes,
I got it. He's an Igbo man, by the way. And Dr. Adeniyi, thank you so much for joining us on Dateline Abuja.
It's a pleasure.
You're watching Dateline Abuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. We as Nigerians should endeavor to put an end to discrimination experienced at the hands of fellow Nigerians. Let's be one and stand up for someone's right today. Wherever we are, we can make a difference, and it starts with each one of us. And that's a wrap for Dateline Abuja. For today, you can check our Facebook page for more details about the Abuja hashes and the cycling group, and also follow us on our social media page, and please like it. Thank you so much for staying with us, and join me same time, same station. I'm Hawa Momo. Good morning.
Abuja.